Hello and welcome everyone into the 1011 Now streaming studio. Bill Renchler joined alongside by Ryan Swanigan, the Ryan Swanigan, who obviously is the breaking news producer extraordinaire here at 1011, but also moonlights on the radio. You may have heard the dulcet tones of Ryan Swanigan calling some high school volleyball matches throughout the season, and high school state volleyball starting tomorrow in Lincoln. And so we're going to kind of do a little bit of a breakdown of some of the high school state volleyball, run you through some of the brackets, and get you ready for what should be an excellent 4 days.
Phenomenal. Let's go with phenomenal.
Oh yeah, I mean that's true.
I've been covering the last 2 months. I've been waiting for these 4 days for a long time.
It is going to be some really good stuff. So again, we'll run you through some of it and kind of get you ready with what you need to know. So we will start with Class A. So we'll go ahead and pull the bracket up here again. Class A right here is in green. Here on your left-hand side of the screen. So Class A starts tomorrow. So November 1st, you're going to have 4 matches, Class A, taking place at PBA. So your first set of matches is going to be number 1 seed Papio La Vista South versus Papio La Vista. So, all Papio matchup there. Number 1 seed versus number 8 seed. That's at 5 p.m. at the North Court. At the same time, at the South Court at PBA, it's Lincoln Southwest versus Pius. I know we are journalists and supposed to be objective and straight down the middle. I am a Pius alum.
I did not know this.
I will unashamedly root for my Thunderbolts.
There you go.
So, those first 2 matchups there, Ryan. What are we looking at? What are we excited to see?
Yeah, first, I'll say this: being a graduate of Papillion La Vista High School, I am definitely looking forward to keeping one eye to my right. I had to think about it for a minute where I am in the arena. Because I will be calling Lincoln Southwest and Pius X. That will be my 4th volleyball game tomorrow.
Okay.
Like the final one. Kellen Havikin will be calling, thankfully, the Lincoln East Bellevue West matchup, which we'll get to in a little bit. But Papillion La Vista South, it's a rivalry match in the state tournament of all places. And it's happening again because this was the semifinal match last year that Papio South won. They advanced to the state tournament, state championship, ended up winning it all. They have won it, I think, 3 out of the last 4 years, trying to go 4 out of the last 5. They've been in the championship match 5 out of the last 6. This Papio South team is really, really good, and I know they are really, really upset that Papillion La Vista ended up taking the Metro Conference title away from them at the home of the Monarchs, too. And so they would love nothing more than to be able to get revenge against the Monarchs by knocking them out in the opening round of the state tournament.
Papio South, again, the 2-time defending Class A champions, 2022 and 2021.
Yeah.
Last year they defeated Omaha West Side. The year before that they defeated Millard West. So, and again they won it in 2019 as well. So 3 out of the last 4 years, Papillion La Vista South. And again, they're number 1 seed. They're 35-1. So again, coming off another really good season. So have to think they're probably favored in that matchup. But again, there's a reason they play the games. Because we don't know what's going to happen, Ryan.
And at the same time, on that South Court, in that match that I'll have, Lincoln Southwest, Pius X, this will be the 3rd time these 2 teams have faced each other this season. Lincoln Southwest wants it all. This team has been so good. This is their 4th year in a row at the state tournament, and this is the best season that they have had.
30-4 this year.
Arguably, of those 4 seasons that they've been at Pinnacle Bank Arena, and I know they are hoping that Papillion La Vista knocks out Papio South in the opening round, because if so, the road to the championship match and maybe a title gets a little bit easier. Exactly, yeah. So Lincoln Southwest certainly hoping that they can do it. Pius X would love to play upset, but it's very, very difficult. This is a young Pius X team that has gotten hot as the season has progressed. They somehow got the job done against against Papillion La Vista in the district final, the A7 district final, and now they're back in the state tournament. So they would love to be able to really pull off an incredible upset against Lincoln Southwest.
So those are the 5 p.m. matches. At 7 p.m., again, PBA North Court, you're going to have number 4 seed West Side, 25-10, versus number 5 seed Grand Island, 26-8. And then on the South Court, you'll have 3 seed Lincoln East, 27-10, versus 6 seed Bellevue West, 29-9. Again, last year West Side was in the championship. This year, again, they're back, 25-10. They'll have a road, though, to get back to a championship match.
I will tell you this, though. Nobody wants to play West Side right now.
Mm-hmm.
They are extremely hot. They had the chance at the Metro Conference Tournament Championship. Couldn't get it done. Still, with that being said, they are a very, very dangerous team to face. I don't know if Grand Island is going to be able to get it done against West Side, solely because West Side is just so hot right now. They're playing some great volleyball.
So that is Class A. So again, those matches are all tomorrow at PBA. The semifinals would then be on November 3rd, which is a Thursday, at PBA, and then the final being on Friday, and that final is scheduled for 7 p.m.
Check that Friday, Saturday.
What's today?
Today is Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday?
It is
Oh, yeah,
Tuesday.
okay. So these don't start till tomorrow. I
Yeah.
apologize. I'm a day off.
That's all right.
So, yeah, first round is Wednesday, second round is Friday, and then championships on Saturday.
By the way, Lincoln East, we didn't mention this. Lincoln East, Bellevue West, the Spartans would love nothing more than to have another shot at Lincoln Southwest in a semifinal match to then propel them to the state title game to have a rematch against Papio South.
Yeah,
so the Spartans are very hungry for
It
a
is
win.
a little disappointing that all the Lincoln teams are kind of scrunched up there on the bottom side of the bracket.
Oh, yeah.
So preventing a potentially all Lincoln Class A championship. But, I mean, you got 3 out of the 4 Lincoln teams on the bottom side of that bracket. So a good chance that you're going to have some sort of Lincoln team in the final come Saturday. Again,
It's certainly possible.
Kevin and I talked about this yesterday, but you don't necessarily have to be rooting for one team. This volleyball in Nebraska. You could just, if you're a fan of the sport, you can just go and watch and enjoy some really
And
good
there's going to
volleyball.
be some really good matches, not just in Class A. We'll get to them as we go on, but Class A definitely is going to have some great matches to call, to watch, to whatever.
All right, so we'll scroll down here, and we're going to go to Class B, which, again, excuse me, starts tomorrow.
This is my favorite of all of them.
Class B, again, has some really, really good teams. And, again, these are all going to be at PBA beginning earlier in the day, though. So 9 a.m. matches include number 1 seed Norris, 31-3, versus number 8 seed Scotts Bluff, 25-9. That's on the North Court. On the South Court at the same time, 9 a.m. is 2 seed Elkhorn North, 28-7, versus 7 seed Seward, who finished 26-7 this year. Again, Norris, obviously the heavy favorite.
Yes.
Really good team coming out of Norris.
They have had a tale of 2 seasons. First half was good. Second half was better. And they have just been – they've set the bar. They have set the bar. You can talk all you want about Scott Catholic and how – they're the team to beat. They've won it 8 years in a row. Scott really hasn't played a lot of volleyball in this state this year, interestingly enough. They have played more out-of-state competition than in-state competition. So meanwhile, while that's all going on, Norris has set the bar high, and they will not have an easy road getting to the state championship match and even a title. And it starts with a dangerous Scotts Bluff team that I know they are upset-minded. At the same time, those Seward Blue Jays in Seward County, Bill, they would love to be able to spoil what Elkhorn North is wanting, and that is a rematch against Scott to knock them out of the state tournament. Seward wants to be the one to do it. They are a cool team to watch. They get the job done, and they have fought hard to get this 7th seed in the state tournament, so we'll see what happens there at the 9 a.m. matches. I'll have Norris Scotts Bluff be keeping a very close eye out of one eye between Elkhorn North and Seward.
Between Class A and Class B, you have to go back to 2014. the last time you could say a local team outside of Omaha has won a state championship in Class A and Class B. And holy cow, you're right. I did not realize that. Yeah, Omaha Scott has won the state championship in volleyball every year going back to 2015.
It's unprecedented.
And then it was Norris in 2014, 2013, and then so that's
it's
a pretty
unprecedented.
long run.
It's
of state
completely
championships.
unprecedented what Scott has done in almost 10 years. That's just wild. And I don't know if anybody else has done it. And there is a reason why Scott is going outside the state to play matches against teams from Kansas, Illinois, Florida. There's a reason why. But at the same time, it would also be really neat to see a team other than Scott win it and be like, maybe you should focus a little bit on also the teams that are in the state that are, top of the line in Class B. Now, Scott has played some really difficult teams in Nebraska, but they've been Class A, in Papillion and Papillion La Vista. So we'll see what that what that does for them in this state tournament match.
So those are the 9 a.m. Matches: Norris, Scottsbluff, Elkhorn, North Seward. Scott doesn't play until the second round of matches, 11 a.m. A 3-seed Scott. Again, their record's 26-13. So, like you said,
slightly deceiving.
You look at their record, and they're 26-13. But they have played a lot of matches outside of their class, outside of the state, like you said. 3-seed Scott Catholic versus 6-seed Waverly. Waverly's 23-9. And then on the North Court at the same time, you have 4-seed Bennington versus 5-seed Gretna East, 25-10 this year for Gretna. So, are you calling any of those games?
I'm calling Waverly Scott right after Norris Scottsbluff. The Waverly Vikings and head coach Terry New Year's team are very fun to watch. They are so good, and I kind of agree with Coach New Year and what she told me on Saturday in the district final before that happened. They can play with anybody, and I think they could beat anybody. And you have that type of confidence, you're going to need it going up against the best of the best in Scott Catholic. The 8-time Class B champions, Waverly has to have everything together in order to be able to pull off what would be an unprecedented upset and advance to what could be either Seward or Elkhorn North on Friday night. So Waverly Scott, that's going to be fun. Bennington Gretna East is also going to be really fun because that is a rematch of a sub-district semifinal game that Bennington, I think, won. And then Gretna East, though, first year team for like the brand new school there in Gretna. City got divided in half, and we now know where the better volleyball talent went. It ended up at Gretna East because they were at Gretna. City divided in half. Now Gretna East is in the state tournament. Gretna is not. And now it answers as to, how good is Gretna East? Well, it's pretty good because they have a lot of last year's talent from Gretna now with the Griffins against a very surprisingly good and dangerous Bennington Badger volleyball team.
So Class B going to be just as interesting and just as good as Class A. So again, those matches start tomorrow, 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. at PBA, and then semifinals on Friday at 5 and 7, and then finals on Saturday, tentatively scheduled for 5 p.m. So we'll continue to kind of scroll on down the list here. Class C1. And your defending champion, Class C1, is Grand Island Central Catholic. They defeated Gothenburg last year. And Grand Island Central Catholic making it back into the tournament this year as a 7 seed. Number 1 seed, though, is Kearney Catholic, 30-2. They will be taking on 8 seed Syracuse, 27-7, again tomorrow at 1 p.m. PBA North Court. Same time on the South Court, you'll have 2 seed Minden, 33-1, taking on Grand Island Central Catholic, 26-3. I believe, again, talking with Kevin Suits yesterday, I believe he said Kearney Catholic has the Harburg sisters, I think, playing on that roster. Yeah. So again, generally in your mind, you think as you go down classes, you think maybe the talent and the competition maybe drops. That's just not the case with Nebraska volleyball. There's, again, really, really good players, really, really good teams here playing in Class C1.
I will say this, and I honestly don't think you can argue it. Class C1 volleyball is the most difficult class to play in 2023, and it all you have to do is just go down the wild card points and look at the teams with the records that they have that did not make the state tournament. There are some single-digit loss teams who will not be at Pinnacle Bank Arena this year because it is just that difficult to win or consistently be successful this season for whatever reason in Class C1. You mentioned Minden at 1 o'clock. They were undefeated the whole way until they lost to Kearney Catholic. And Kearney Catholic, in doing so, in not only knocking off Minden and ruining their undefeated season, then jumped Minden for the number 1 seed. And now there they are, all set up at 30-2. Kearney Catholic has been a problem for so many schools this year. And it just
30 of them.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just kind of mind-boggling that they have, how does this team have 2 losses on the season? And then again, at the same time, it's how in the world did Minden lose that match to Kearney, because Minden has just been so good. And, of course, it would be a mistake if we didn't include Gothenburg.
32-2.
Gothenburg's only 2 losses this year to Minden.
Then again, they were runner-up last year to Grand Island Central Catholic.
So that's just 1 through 3 right there. That is just, and the rest on down is just, it's so
Malcolm,
difficult.
4-seed Malcolm,
Yeah, we haven't even gotten into the
27-4.
Malcolm Clippers yet.
5-seed Pierce is 30-3.
It's ridiculous how good Class C1 volleyball is this year. And again, I say, I don't think there is a more difficult class in the state of Nebraska than C1 volleyball because, again, so many teams did not make the state tournament, and they have less than 10 losses. It's just mind-boggling, truly mind-boggling.
So again, those C1 again is obviously tomorrow, 1 p.m., 3 p.m. The 1 p.m. matches Kearney Catholic versus Syracuse, Minden versus Grand Island Central Catholic. 3 p.m. is 4-seed Malcolm versus 5-seed Pierce, and then 3 p.m. is 3-seed Gothenburg versus 6-seed Platteview.
I'll have the Malcolm Pierce match,
which should be a good one.
Oh, it's going to be so good. Malcolm is they are in for quite the matchup against the Pierce Blue Jays. And those 4 versus 5 matches are always so good. I would not be surprised if it goes 5 sets.
And so then semifinals on Friday and finals tentatively scheduled for 3 p.m. on Saturday. There will also be a third place match. The finals, I should also say, are at Devaney at
Correct.
3 p.m. on Saturday. And there's a third place match that will happen at 9 a.m. at Northeast on Saturday. So that is Class C1. We'll scroll back up and jump over here to Class C2. And C2 headlined by Lincoln Lutheran, who again is your defending champion last year, 40-0. Lincoln Lutheran.
Perfect season.
This year, again, 1 seed, they are 33-2. They will take on 8-seed Summerland, 21-10. That is going to be, these are going to be on Wednesday.
Thursday.
Excuse me, Thursday.
Yeah.
My days are all mixed around.
That's okay.
It's still early in the day, so I have an excuse. Thursday at 5 p.m. Will be these first set of matches, Lincoln Lutheran and Summerland, and then at PBA, and then 2-seed Clarkson Lee, 32-1 versus 7-seed Crofton, 21-8. The second set of matches will be at 7 p.m. at PBA. 4-seed UTAN, 26-3 versus 5-seed Elmwood Murdoch, 25-6, and then 3-seed Oakland Craig, 29-6 versus Humphrey LHF.
Humphrey Lindsay Holy Family.
Okay, thank you. Sometimes the abbreviations escape me.
No, you're good.
28-6. Which again, I mean, Lincoln Lutheran, one of your better local teams here across the state, and for us here in Lincoln.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting match because Summerland, interestingly enough, on the season, Summerland was the number 15 rank. Well, I wouldn't say ranked. Number 15 seed in the district finals on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
They took on Bayard, who was the number 2 seed and was also undefeated on the season. Summerlin won in 3 sets, handing Bayard their first loss of the season and a ticket, one-way ticket, out of the state tournament.
They're not in the field.
So that is a gut punch for Bayard to have an undefeated season, 1 win away from going into the state tournament undefeated, to 1 loss in the season, perfect season gone, and you're not even playing at Pinnacle Bank Arena because so many other matches beneath you did not play in your favor, interestingly enough, because 7 and 8 had upsets. Crofton upset Freeman. Big shock for the Falcons because they had their sights set on the state tournament. They're not in either. They're Central also. That's a little bit more even. They had to go to 5 sets, and they lost to Humphrey Lindsay Holy Family. So everybody bumps up. Summerlin takes the 8. Bayard is out, and now Summerlin is like, hey, we just knocked off the number 2 team in Class C2.
Let's do it again.
Why can't we do it for against Lincoln Lutheran?
Why not us, Ryan?
I know. So meanwhile, Lincoln Lutheran is like, we are not too pleased about how we have 2 losses on the season, so we're going to go get this state title and try and stop us because they are very good.
And
at
remind
volleyball.
me again, I know I'm going to get it. Lincoln Lutheran has the Nebraska commit, right?
Carrie Leinbach.
Carrie
Libero, yes.
Yes.
Still got a year left, too. She's a junior right now for the Warriors.
But did she also just set like the record for digs or something like that?
Oh, I
for
can't.
Lincoln
Yeah,
Lutheran?
I cannot remember which one that is right off the top
But a
of my
really
head.
good player. And again, if this is, if you want to just park your butt in a seat in PBA, this would be a good team to watch. Again,
C2 has some really, really good matchups. And, oh, by the way, you cannot forget about the Wolgamuth sisters, who just vicious, especially Sophie Wolgamuth up front at the net. You do not want to be in the way of her spikes coming down at you because she's got
some velocity.
Oh yeah, the ferociousness, if you will, of Sophie Wolgamuth's attacking ability is in a very, very small group of other players who have that ability. I think of Anna Jelinek is another one. There's somebody for Papillion La Vista South that is really good too. There's just a very small group of people who have this ability up front at the net, and Sophie Wolgamuth is one of them, and she's going to be on display against the Summerlin team that's really going to have to be focused if they want to try and upset Lincoln Lutheran.
And so the other set of games in Class C2, again at PBA, these are scheduled for 7 p.m. 4-seed UTAN 26-3 versus 5-seed Elmwood Murdoch 25-6. You also have 3-seed Oakland Craig 29-6 versus 6-seed Humphrey Lindsay Holy Family at 7 p.m. So again, those matches are Thursday, semifinals on Friday, and then finals on Saturday at Devaney. Also a third place game at Northeast. Interesting question I'll just pose to you here, outside of necessarily the matchups. Again, the finals are split between PBA and Devaney. Where would you rather play? I mean, obviously PBA has probably a bigger capacity.
Yeah.
But Devaney, that's the home court of the Huskers.
It's the home of greatness.
It is.
Simple as that.
I know. So where would you? Because I mean, I think it's Class A and Class B are basically at PBA.
No, actually, everybody is at Devaney on Saturday.
Oh, are they all at?
Yeah, everybody is
okay.
at Devaney on Saturday. So
Well,
you
look
basically
at me reading the schedule wrong.
That's
here.
all right. You have to battle your way through to get to the home of greatness. Yeah,
To get to the Mecca.
exactly. So,
All right.
Here's the thing. For me, as a broadcaster, I prefer PBA because you're courtside. The action is right in front of you in this giant arena. At Devaney, you are back up in the press section away from the court. You're not down on the floor.
You're not feeling
where
the
everything
flex
is
of
in
sweat.
front. Yeah, exactly. You're not seeing the fear that Sophie Wolgamuth is striking into her opponent's eyes, or Anna Jelinek just gonna come swing one right down on you, or or my apologies here to Hallie Dolliver, the best attacker in the entire state of Nebraska across all classes. And that's not debatable. That is a fact because she backs it up with the stats. You don't get to see Hallie Dolliver taking swings and just making it difficult for the back row players for the opposing team trying to somehow make it dig. You don't get that at Devaney, but it's the Devaney Center.
It's the Devaney Center.
So it's again, like I said, I prefer Pinnacle Bank Arena based on where
you're sitting,
where the seating is, but nobody cares about what the broadcaster wants in terms of where he's going to be seated to do play-by-play. The players want Devaney.
That's true.
It's where Nebraska volleyball plays
true.
because some of them, well, not some of them, many of them are not going to get an opportunity in college to play at Devaney. Anna Jelinek may only get at minimum one opportunity to play at Devaney because she's a Long Beach State commit. That's a long ways away from the Devaney Center. Carrie Leinbach, though, is going to get multiple opportunities to play inside the Devaney Center. She already has in her time with Lincoln Lutheran, and very, very well might get it again this year and potentially, possibly next year too. So Devaney is the place to be, but Pinnacle Bank Arena does have a lot of fun, if you will, in it because it's a divided court, and that place can get loud, especially with, I feel like Class B shows up a little bit more than Class A, especially in teams like Norris and Waverly.
They can get rowdy.
Those folks from northern and northeastern and southern Lancaster County, they are going to show up and they're going to make some noise there inside the arena.
They're a rambunctious group.
Oh yeah.
All right, we're getting a little winded here, so let's let's finish up with Class D1 and D2. Again, Class D1, your defending champion is Hardington Cedar Catholic. They defeated Norfolk Catholic last year in the Class D1. This year, number 1 seed. You're going to have to help me out again here, Ryan. Guardian Angels.
Central
Catholic.
Yes.
25-5. They're going to take on 8 seed Burwell, 24-7. That is scheduled for Thursday, 1 p.m. Also at 1 p.m. at PBA number 2 Southwest, 29-3 versus number 7 Elgin Public Pope John. 26-6. And then at 3 p.m. You have BDS. 4-seed BDS versus 5-seed Amherst, 3-seed St. Mary's versus 6-seed Sumner Eddyville Miller. So again, you have number 1 seed that's 25-5, but you have a number 3 seed that's 31-1. So again, more good volleyball in Class D1.
Class D1 and D2 volleyball gets a little bit different because it's a lot more of the rural volleyball kids still playing extremely competitively in whatever matchup they have. And it also ends up being kind of like it's a free-for-all. Like last year, I can't remember. I might pull it up. I might have a different one here. Yeah, last year, Norfolk Catholic was the number 1 seed. Cedar Catholic was the 7. Cedar Catholic won it all. But Howells Dodge, who had won it 2 years in a row, 2021 and last year, got the job done as the 1 seed. So it really kind of is a free-for-all.
You've had 4 different teams win it the last, 5 different teams win it the last 5 years. Hardington Cedar Catholic, Howells Dodge, 2021. 2020 was Pleasanton. 2019 was Diller Odell. 2018 was Archbishop Bergen. And you go back 2017, 2016, 2015, it was Johnson Brock.
Yeah. It's a free-for-all.
Yeah.
It truly is a free-for-all in D1 and in D2, and we'll get to D2 in a bit. But, yeah, again, we don't really have anybody that we cover on Lincoln Prep Sports for D1 or D2. But overall, as I said, it's still it doesn't matter. There's still some great volleyball that's going to be played in Class D1. And, again, I really just think it's a free-for-all. It could be I had the wrong one up here. Let's see. It could be Guardian Angels Central Catholic. Could be Southwest. It could be EPPJ. You never know. It's just a toss-up when it comes to D1 and D2 as to who's going to be able to power through and get the job done.
And these matches begin on Thursday, 1 p.m., 3 p.m., and then their final is scheduled for Saturday at 11 a.m. in Devaney, a third-place game at 1 p.m. at Northeast. Wrap it up here with Class D2. Your defending champion for Class D2, Howes Dodge, defeated Overton last year. So Howes Dodge, your defending champion, they are not
not even in it this year.
They're not in it this year. You have number 1 seed Cambridge, 26-4, taking on number 8 seed Shelton, 23-9. In the 9 a.m. game on Thursday, also at 9 a.m., 2 seed Overton, 29-3 versus 7 seed Central Valley. At 11 a.m., you have number 4 seed Wallace, 27-4 versus number 5 seed Wynot, and number 3 seed Meriden, 24-5 versus number 6 seed Stewart at 27-4. Thankfully, there was no abbreviations in D2.
Yeah, right. That's okay. I still got you anyway. By the way, why not? Why not?
I know. Why not? Why not? Why
Why
not?
not?
Them? Why not them?
25-6, a 5 seed right in the middle.
Yeah, they can do it.
The road's going to be difficult if they do beat Wallace and they have to take on Cambridge. But again, it's and this is nothing against rural Nebraska volleyball because it's still just as good.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a little bit more difficult to try and figure out. All right, who is going to be able to overpower this team and who's going to be able to overpower that team? Again, as I said, it's a toss-up. It's always a free-for-all when it comes to D1 and D2 volleyball.
But it will all be good volleyball nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
So you zoom out here, and again, you can see there's the big old bracket. Again, NSAA State Volleyball Championship brackets. Again, it's all going to kick off starting tomorrow on Wednesday. With again a bunch of matches at PBA. Again, they're going to have 2 courts going at the same time. They're at PBA, and then Championship Saturday at Devaney. The first, it'll be 9 a.m. D2, 11 a.m. D1, 1 p.m. C2, 3 p.m. C1, 5 p.m. Class B, 7 p.m. Class A. So again, if there was a day, if you're just a fan of volleyball, go get your ticket for Devaney on Saturday.
Yeah. Any day, any Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
But
any
if
of those
you want to
days.
do championship Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that
if you
would
only
be
wanted one day, Saturday probably.
Saturday,
It.
get your ticket,
Yeah.
pack some snacks, and
See if somebody can unseed Scott in Class B,
And then
because everybody in the state outside of the Omaha Metro is looking for somebody else to win the Class B state title other than Scott Catholic.
Class B and Class A.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously if you see Ryan Swanigan calling the game, I fully encourage you to
Heckle me.
heckle him. I mean, if you wanted to throw something at him, I'm not going to say don't do that. Just make sure it's maybe soft and not
Be
like...
some Lincoln police officers who I actually know who will probably escort those people or person out of whichever
to
venue
me,
it is.
so I can personally thank them.
They might
No.
be thanking you and then asking you for money to pay off the fine. So
All right, well, there we go. Thank you, Ryan, again, for jumping in
Yep.
and talking some high school volleyball again. We will obviously have all the coverage on 1011 with the 1011 Sports Department, Kevin Suits, Chase Madison, and unlike Kendall Lanier, and likely all of the interns.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be very busy over the next several days covering the volleyball. So, again, keep it tuned to 1011, both on air and online, for all of your high school state volleyball coverage. Thanks again, Ryan, for jumping in.
Yep, thanks
Thanks
you.
everyone for watching. And until next time, folks, we'll see you later.